The transport ship Vagrant's Hope drifted through the void between star systems, its hull scarred by countless rejections. Inside the cramped passenger bay, David Chen pressed his face against the porthole, watching the distant blue marble of Earth grow larger with each passing hour. Beside him, Emma Rodriguez clutched a worn datapad containing their shared dreams and shattered hopes. 17 colonies, Emma whispered, her voice barely audible over the ship's humming engines. 17 different worlds, and not one would take us. David's hand found hers, their fingers intertwining as they had countless times during their 3-year odyssey through the galaxy. They had been so young when they left Earth, bright-eyed graduates with degrees in xenobiology and terraforming engineering. The recruitment posters had promised adventure, purpose, and a chance to help humanity spread across the stars. What they hadn't mentioned was how expendable Earth-born humans had become in the grand galactic hierarchy. The Centauri Collective had dismissed them as genetically inferior, too much gravity adaptation. The crystal cities of Vega, Prime had scanned their DNA and declared them incompatible with our atmospheric processors. New. Geneva had simply stated their quota for baseline humans was full, though David had spotted dozens of empty residential pods during their brief layover. Each rejection had been a knife twist, but the worst had come from Kepler Station, a human colony that had declared independence from Earth 50 years prior. The colonial administrator, herself descended from Earth emigrants, had looked at David and Emma with undisguised contempt. "We've evolved beyond your limitations," she had said, gesturing to her elongated limbs and enlarged cranium, adaptations for low gravity and enhanced neural processing. Earthborn humans are a relic. We need citizens who can contribute to our advanced society, not drag us backward. Now, after burning through their life savings on transport fees and rejection processing costs, they were heading home to a world they had never expected to see again. Earth, the backwater, the has-been, the planet that everyone pitied but nobody wanted to emulate. The ship's intercom crackled to life. "Attention passengers, we are approaching Earth orbital space. Prepare for customs and immigration processing." Through the porthole, David could see the massive ring stations that surrounded Earth like gleaming jewelry. Ships of every conceivable design moved in orderly patterns, a choreographed dance of commerce and diplomacy. But these weren't the sleek uniform vessels of the galactic colonies. These ships bore the scars of 1,000 different battles, the modifications of 100 different purposes, the creativity born of necessity rather than abundance. "Look at that," Emma breathed, pointing to a massive cargo hauler that seemed to be built from the shells of 6 different ship types welded together. "I've never seen anything like it." "That's Earth engineering for you," said a gravelly voice behind them. They turned to see Captain Morrison, the Vagrant's Hope's commanding officer. His weathered face bore the marks of someone who had spent decades in space, but his eyes held a warmth that neither David nor Emma had seen in the colonial officials who had rejected them. "We don't have the luxury of building everything from scratch with perfect materials. We make do, we adapt, we survive." The customs station was unlike anything they had experienced in the colonies. Instead of sterile processing chambers and AI interrogators, they were greeted by actual humans who asked about their journey with genuine curiosity rather than suspicion. The customs officer, a middle-aged woman with graying hair and laugh lines around her eyes, stamped their documents with a flourish. "Welcome home," she said simply. "I know it might not feel like much after seeing all those fancy colony worlds, but Earth has its own brand of magic." The shuttle down to the surface carried a mixed group of passengers, returning expatriates like themselves, diplomatic couriers, traders, and what appeared to be a delegation of aliens in environment suits. David overheard their conversation in accented standard. They were researchers from the Hegemony Science Council, coming to study the human homeworld phenomenon. As the shuttle broke through the atmosphere, David and Emma pressed their faces to the windows like children. Below them spread a world that defied every stereotype they had absorbed during their years in space. Yes, there were the great sprawling cities, but they were green cities. Cities that seemed to grow from the landscape rather than impose upon it. Solar collection arrays that looked like vast, metallic flowers tracked the sun across the sky. Ocean farms stretched to the horizon, their bioluminescent crops creating patterns of light visible even from orbit. "How is this possible?" Emma whispered. All the colonial reports said Earth was dying, overpopulated, resource depleted. One of the alien researchers turned at her words, his translator device rendering his response in perfect standard. Your colonial reports are propaganda, young human. Earth never stopped innovating. It simply learned to innovate differently. While the colonies focused on expansion and exploitation, Earth developed sustainability and integration. We have much to learn from your homeworld. The shuttle landed at New Geneva International, not to be confused with the colony that had rejected them, and David and Emma stepped onto Earth soil for the first time in 3 years. The air was clean, carrying the scent of growing things and rain. The spaceport buzzed with activity, but it was organized chaos, the kind that suggested systems working at peak efficiency, even if they looked chaotic from the outside. A young woman approached them, her tablet displaying their names and photos. David Chen and Emma Rodriguez? I'm Sarah from the reintegration office. Welcome home. I understand you've had a difficult journey. Emma's eyes filled with tears, the first tears of relief she had shed in 3 years. We tried so hard to make it work out there. We thought we were failures, Sarah smiled. The colony's loss is our gain. We've been tracking the brain drain to the outer worlds for decades, and we've learned something important. The colonies want humans who fit their existing systems. Earth needs humans who can build new systems. Your experience with alien biospheres and advanced terraforming? We can use that. We're not trying to maintain some pure human ideal. We're trying to become something better. As they walked through the spaceport, David noticed something he had missed in the colonies: diversity that went beyond mere appearances. Humans with cybernetic enhancements worked alongside unmodified baseline humans. People with obvious genetic adaptations chatted easily with those bearing the signs of different planetary origins. Children who were clearly the products of mixed human-alien relationships played in the terminal's gardens. This is what the colonies fear, David realized aloud. Not that we're inferior, that we're adaptable, that we change. Emma squeezed his hand as they followed Sarah toward their new life. For the first time in 3 years, they were home. Not because Earth was where they were born, but because Earth was where they belonged. Where their restless creativity, their refusal to accept limitations, and their very human habit of making the impossible work were not just tolerated, but celebrated. The colonies could have their genetic perfection and their rigid hierarchies. Earth would keep its beautiful, chaotic, endlessly inventive humanity, and all the wonders that came with it. Behind them, the alien research team was already taking notes, eager to study the secret of humanity's greatest strength: the ability to call anywhere home and make it better in the process.